we're going to talk about reading decimal numbers out to the thousandths place. Now, any decimal that goes out to the thousandths place means there's 3 decimal places. So this one here, for example, says 4 and 281 thousandths. So we read this. To the left of the decimal point, we read as we normally would. 4. When we get to the decimal point, we say and. The only time we ever say the word and in a number is where there's a decimal point. We never say and anywhere else. Then we have 281 here. And since there's 3 decimal places, the last name is going to be thousandths. So anytime I have 3 decimal places in a number, that last name of that number is going to be thousandths. So 4 and 281 thousandths. 281 first name, last name thousandths. This one here, 5 and first name 653. Read it just like we would if we'd pretend that those were the only numbers there. So 5 and 653, last name thousandths, because there's 3 decimal places. This one here, 2 and 47 thousandths. 2 and first name 47, and it is thousandths because there's 3 decimal places. 8 and first name 70, last name thousandths because of the 3 decimal places. So it's 8 and 70 thousandths. And we'll do one more. So this one here, 6 and first name 200, last name thousandths because of the 3 decimal places. 6 and 200 thousandths. Now we will go from word form to number form. So this first one here says 3 and 732 thousandths. I want to write everything to the left of the and down like I normally would. 3, the and, I'm going to put a decimal point for that. And then after the and, it says 732 thousandths. This last word here, thousandths, just lets me know that there's going to be 3 decimal places. So the last name's thousandths, 3 decimal places, and then it says 732. So its first name is 732, and I put those in the 3 decimal places. So 3 and 732 thousandths. Next one, 4 and 17 thousandths. So I put down the 4 and the decimal point because it's 4 and. Everything to the left of the decimal point I just write down like I normally would. And it says 17 thousandths. Because of this thousandths, I know there's going to be 3 decimal places. And I need to give it the first name of 17. So I need to put down a 0 and then a 17. Because that will say 4 and 17 thousandths. And 2 more to do. 1 and 7 thousandths. So before the decimal place, we put our 1. The and, we put a decimal point, and then it's 7 thousandths. Because of the thousandths, I know there's going to be 3 decimal places, and I need to make it say 7. Now, some people will say, hey, I'll just put 1.7 and put 2 zeros on there. But when we read that, we see it's not going to be correct. This is 1 and 700 first name, last name thousandths. So that's 1 and 700 thousandths. I need to make sure that the first name is 7. So I need to put it 0, 0, 7. So this is 1 and 7 thousandths. So to check these over, I make sure that they're read and said the same way. 1 and 7 thousandths, 1 and 7 thousandths. Last one, 2 and 30 thousandths. 2 and, put the decimal point where the and is. Last name thousandths, so I have 3 decimal places. First name 30. So I need to make sure it says 30 in those 3 decimal places. Check it over. It's said 2 and 30 thousandths, and it's read 2 and 30 thousandths.